don't believe the narrative.
Let's make a year of exploration, a year of celebration. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Our opportunity, our moment. Let's march into finals.
The Mull in full flow. The Hurricane Higgins. He's about to pounce. Gets there. Owens, the same goes marching in.
Picked up Phillippo. Spinning. Brilliant angle. Matthias Phillippo with one of the best.
Oh, well, the Over the Ditch Stainers have been in a bit of a hiatus for a little while, so we're back to put something together and have a bit of a discussion. I'm joined, as usual, by Danny and Sammy. How are you guys?
The order team, how are we?
Awesome. And we've decided we've had a bit of a a pre-match discussion tactics for this episode. And instead of doing our usual format, we thought we might just discuss a few burning issues that we notice on social media, plus one of our valued listeners, viewers, whatever you want to call it, Greg Lyden, I believe is the pronunciation, Lyden, has asked us a question. And we sort of thought we might put that into the episode in place of Sammy's special delivery. Please get the questions in for Sammy moving forward. But why not? Let's just start with Greg's question, guys.
Yeah, I'm happy to get into that.
All right. Well, Greg said, hi, guys. Maybe you can discuss the number of times Saints are being pinged for not 15 metres. We see all the time 12 to 15 metre ones get paid in other games, as in they're allowed. By my account, we have been called for 15 5 times, and it's only halfway through the third. That was from not last night, would have been Saturday night's game, because this is now Monday. So what are your thoughts, guys?
Well, Greg, as 5 minutes before Greg messaged that, I was talking to a mate in South Australia online while we're watching the game. And I'd just been mentioning the same thing to him. All these 15 metres or the not 15s are killing us. I said, but Gold Coast are doing the same thing, maybe not even kicking as far, and they're getting away with it. So, what have we done? What have we done there to upset the umpires? So, and I think I did comment that under Greg's thing that I've just been talking about it. So it's a good point he brings up, and I'd really be keen to know what the answer is, to be fair.
I just wonder, because as we know, there's 4 central umpires these days, I believe, something like that. Maybe it was just the one bloke that, unfortunately, every time we did it, that was calling them, called it. I don't know. Yeah. I've got no other explanation. That would explain the inconsistency, though, because that is the human error of it, measuring whether or not a kick's 15 metres or whatever it's meant to be.
Yeah, and there is, like, to be fair, and I know they're not getting paid like bloody professionals and that, but with 4 of them there, they shouldn't be making those mistakes.
No, look, I believe
should be a little bit more consistent.
True, and I believe that the proper term is semi-professional.
Yeah,
because they do get paid, but they're not full time, which is ridiculous with the amount of money that's in the sport.
Yeah, that's right. The powers that be are collecting a good dollar at the end of the day. They could put a little bit. Let them not have the worries of their outside work, and let them concentrate and train properly. I don't know how much truth this, but I was told that they can't even train at a proper oval. They train at a local dog park, apparently. I don't know how much truth to that, but that's what a mate told me. So I'm going to believe him just because I've got no other word on anything else. But that does seem a bit bizarre. You'd think, they'd be going to a good oval and training there and getting the best training they can and having all the video analysis, which I guess they do a lot of that.
Well, why don't they do a partnership with someone like the Victorian Institute of Sport or something like that and get them, top of the, top-notch bloody training facilities, whether it be in the gym and things like that.
They can afford it. So get in there and look after the umpires, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who bloody sits there and abuses the TV about the umpiring decisions every bloody week.
True. And I must say, look, I know. Go, mate. Go. Sorry, go.
Sorry.
No, you go.
Spend some of that money that they get across and put it into the umpiring.
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, on the back of what Greg said, I must say, I know this program that we're putting together, we try to keep, G or PG at worst, but I did say, fuck, what's going on multiple times when that was paid. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, viewers,
No,
but
I
did.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate.
I did. What about you,
I let
Sammy?
those ones slip quite a bit when I'm watching the game.
100%. What do you think of it,
It's
Sammy? Did Dad tell you?
Sammy actually didn't get to see the game. He went over to Granddad's. He's been staying a lot with Granddad, and they didn't have access to the game, unfortunately.
Well, look, Sammy, you saved yourself probably a lot of swearing and Dad clipping you behind the ear roll for swearing. So that's probably not a bad thing, mate. Not a bad thing at all.
And you saved yourself being a bit like Dad and having a lot more greys, because I think I got a lot of grey just during that game.
Yeah, I'm lucky my greys just go to the beard, so I could get rid of it all into. They haven't really got to the top, but they're getting there. So another thing that's coming on board, what was the other point we discussed? It's already left my mind.
Lowering our eyes coming inside 50, or was that?
It was. Oh, sorry, no, I'm back. I'm back on song. We'll get to that, but I'm back on song.
Okay.
The biggest controversy, as we've seen, I think today, the AFL's come out and said that the free kick to Max King should not have been a free kick, and admitting that the umpires got it wrong. To be honest, I don't know why the AFL have to come out and be giving an answer to decisions. To me, we have umpires, they're human. And to be brutally honest, the AFL screw the umpires anyway with the stupid amount of interpretations and changing things mid-season and stuff like that, as far as I'm concerned. Why come out and then say that one of their employees has got it wrong as an umpire? I don't know. I've seen it numerous times, as you guys probably have, or Danny definitely, I would imagine. And
I've watched it quite a few times.
Yeah, and look, it was one of those things where maybe the retaliator got paid against, because maybe he got grabbed first by Kingy or whatever. But my question is, are we losing sight of the decision? Yes, all right, that was it. But what about the dissent afterwards? He didn't let it go.
That got me. He was. There was a lot of dissent there, and that like even at the start of this season, that was a big rule, but it seems to have gone out the gate now.
I thought, look, normally I'm not a big fan of dissent because it's in the moment, but he just dragged it on and on and on, and that's what I would have thought. That's where dissent should be paid. Is if they don't let it go, like let them vent a little bit. But that went on for 30 seconds or more, I reckon.
Oh, it was pretty disrespectful, to be fair. And to be fair, people are saying that's the only that didn't win St Kilda the game. St Kilda were attacking. If you have a look, Liam Henry had just taken possession of the ball. I think just taken a mark.
Yep.
Higgins was running into the open goal. Yep. He was goal side of his defender. Liam Henry's a good user of the ball. I'm picking he would have put it over Higgins' head. Higgins going to run in with a lucky bounce. He's going to grab the ball and kick a goal. That's the way I would have seen that playing out. Because I'd called that. I was like, Higgins is going to get a goal here when I'd seen what was happening. Looking forward before as the free was paid. I said that. I was actually because I was talking to a mate, like I say, I was live on a video to him as I was watching the video on the TV. I go, it's going to be a goal here, and then the whistle blew, and it's like, which is definitely going to be a goal now. But I was quite confident that Liam Henry would get the ball in front of Higgins, goal side, and he'd just be kicking a goal, and we'd be in the front.
Yeah.
People say that's why I won the game. I think Gold Coast were in front for like 5 or 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
We'd led the rest of the game. We strangled them. We had them in all sorts of bother all game, and I was confident. Although it was ugly, we won, and I was confident we were still going to win even when they got in front. And I still think Higgins it would have been a goal to Higgins there if Liam Henry uses the ball as he normally does.
Yeah, and look, I think at the end of the day, you can tell by the press conference from old mate Dimmer that he was out-coached.
Yeah, he was very he was disappointed, frustrated. He actually used a lot of what's his name? He used to coach the Saints. Frustrated. He used that word about 4 times
Yeah.
in within a sentence, and I was like, he sounded a lot like what was his name? He used to always use the word frustrated. The St Kilda coach.
It wasn't back in the Blighty days, was it? I think
No,
he is.
just no, before Ratton.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Richardson.
Yeah, Alan Richardson. He was
Yep.
always with the frustrated or frustrating, and
Yep.
and Demi used that. Yes, I reckon 4 or 5 times in one sentence, and I was like, you can see why they bloody get frustrated. But yeah, he pretty much admitted, as you say, without admitting it, that he'd been our coach. He said, we came here, we knew this was going to happen, we knew they'd have this plan, and we didn't react to it.
No.
Even though they'd planned for it, they still didn't react to it. So they
And-
knew St Kilda were going to play that style of game, which brings into something we spoke about earlier,
Yeah.
Tim, about yes, is Ross Lyon's game plan that bad?
Yeah, no, that's right. And just before we move on to that, I'll just point out, talking about umpiring decisions.
Yep.
The Brad Hill holding the ball. All right, get it. I understand it.
Yep.
He had prior opportunity in that. All right, but the second guy came in and it's concussed him potentially with a knee to the head.
Yeah. Accidental as it may be, but it was
Yeah.
contact to the head.
And I don't
And the
believe
umpire's
holding the
seen
ball
that
had
while
been
he's
called.
waiting for Brad Hill to get up.
Yep. Yep.
Why isn't that decision reversed? Or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that aside, it didn't win or lose the game. But yeah, no, getting back to it, Ross the boss, he's copping it left, right, and centre. I believe as much as Dimmer's hinting that he got out coached, I believe Dimmer doesn't appreciate Ross's style of coaching, just the same. And probably nor does a lot of other current coaches. I believe one of Ross's bigger fans is Paul Roos because they're as tight as mates. And I believe wasn't Ross an assistant when Sydney won the flag under Roos?
oh, was he? Yep.
I think he might have been. But saying that,
Can you get it off there, please, mate?
saying that,
Sorry, the dog
That's
just
all right.
climbed up on the chair and got the ball off the bench.
Oh gosh.
Can't be chewing on a Saints ball,
Oh
mate.
no, that's true. That's true. But yeah, getting to what you're saying, look, there's a lot of people from all fields, opposition supporters, St Kilda supporters, media, everyone having a crack at Ross's game plan.
Yeah.
Look, end of the day, we're talking about a team that kicked 160 points only a matter of 7 days ago or whatever it was, and we kept them under 50, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it was ugly. Yes, there's no denying it. It was an ugly game of football. But 4 points are 4 points. 4 premiership points are 4 premiership points.
100%.
As I said to Sammy, I've said it a few times. When I was a younger fella, there was a difference between at 3 a.m. when the lights come on at the nightclub. Your perception of ugly was a lot different than what it was when you entered the nightclub.
Yep.
So a win's a win at the end of the day, and you get that points across the line, and that's all that matters. Doesn't matter how ugly it is.
Well, here's some stats for you to give you a bit of an indication of Ross's coaching. All right. We had 11 marks inside 50. So I presume that's our 50. All right. Uncontested marks, we had 72 versus 126. But that was because we forced them to chip the ball around.
Yep.
So
which is not their style of play.
Correct. We had 11 contested marks to their 11 contested marks. Clearances, we were 35, they were 25. So obviously that's one area where this team actually usually beat most teams at clearances that they play. We beat them at clearances.
Yep.
We had 56 clangers to their 51, but it was as you said, it was a scrappy game. We won the tackles 60 to 56. We won the tackles inside 50, 13-9. So our defensive small forwards obviously were laying tackles in our 50.
Yep.
We had 16 shots on goal to their 13. Now, here's the crucial one. Actually, the next two things are very crucial. We had 56 inside 50s. All right. So now people that say that Ross Lyon's too defensive, we got the ball inside 50 56 times.
Yep.
I think that's not bad. I'm not sure what that compares to other teams. It's probably down a little bit, but that still probably highlights what you were saying in our pre-hit and record discussion. We need to lower our eyes inside 50 because obviously 51 points out of 56 entries inside our 50 is not up to scratch.
Not good enough at all. And the other thing that goes hand in hand with that, as we spoke about, Tim, is if we need our forwards to be communicating with each other and playing well together. Otherwise, if you're lowering your eyes and they're not communicating with each other, what are you going to? You know, if there's miscommunication to the fellas who are leading, there's going to be confusion as to where you're going to go with the ball. You know, where you're lowering your eyes, where you're putting the ball. So we need Membry and King and Co to work together. You know, which is, you know,
100%.
some people might be questioning how well they're working together at the moment.
Another percentage, just before we move on from that, our inside 50s was actually 11 better than theirs. So based on that, if we're using the ball better going inside 50, you would have thought we could have won that by a couple of goals. I don't think that's unreasonable. All right. Then we look at our inside 50s efficiency. And this also probably highlights our problem with not lowering the eyes. We had 16 shots from 56 entries. As we know, we got 29%. They had 13 shots from 45 entries at 29%. So we broke even there. It's just the fact that we had a couple more shots. Shooting accuracy, this is where it hurt us. Yet again, 44% versus 54%. So, you know, it all comes down to foot skill, I think, is what we're trying to convey from those stats. Not often can you say that stats tell the story because they don't always. Sometimes the eye test does. But for me, it highlights, and even look at disposal efficiency, 69% versus 76. Some of the factors to that was the way that we forced them to play. So they would have done a lot of chip kicking sideways. Which if we're all back zoning, it makes sense that the guy's going to mark the ball cleanly. So that the efficiency is going to be up, isn't it?
Yeah.
But look, it just highlights something that Butler said, I believe, in an interview after the game. He stated we're 2 years off being competitive. Competitive as far as pushing for, deep into the finals, maybe a premiership. So saying that, maybe this is the year we've had to have. Maybe it's the year that highlights we need to give a few more kids a go and we need those guys that can use the ball. What are your thoughts?
I think last year actually leads a lot into that because I think we were a little bit. If you had told us we were making finals last year at the start of the season, I think 99% of St Kilda supporters would have said you're fucking kidding, you know?
Yep.
Now we made it into the finals, and all of a sudden we're up on cloud nine. Although we got not knocked out straight away, but we're up here thinking, we're in for a big bloody 2024. Whereas realistically, if you had asked us at the start of 2023, we would have thought we were here, and wouldn't be making finals. We've made finals, and got knocked out. But we've set our expectations way too high for 2024.
Yep.
Than what they should have been, because we probably shouldn't have made finals last season. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we got false expectations, I believe, for this season, and this season is probably where we thought we would have been about last year.
Yep. That's fair, and always remember too that little rodent known as bloody
Toby Green.
No, the coach, everyone's favourite coach that gobs off. Alistair Clarkson.
Alistair, yep.
Always remember that first flag they won when Stewie Jew playing against Geelong, basically they forgot that he was still a footballer and he won the game for them. Because I think he kicked 3 goals or something like that from the wing. They stole that grand final years before they were going to be thereabout. And I said that when they won it, that they've stolen that one. That's premature that they've got that because I thought they were still 2, maybe 3 years off doing that. Maybe we did that last year, but we didn't unfortunately have the run that they had in the finals.
Yeah, well, that's today. we had some unfortunate happening on the eve of our only final. We had some
True.
unfortunate stuff happen, which affected the whole team.
Yep.
Not that we would have. I'm not going to say we would have won the game anyway, but
Because that was a red hot Giants we topped.
yeah, I reckon we would have been a bit more competitive than we were. We still weren't.
Yeah.
We at times that game, and I was at that game live. At times that game, I thought we were real competitive, and we were having a red hot go. But then we were just lacking in a lot of things, and the boys' heads were down a lot of the game. So, and as as we've seen later that weekend or later that week, we've seen why the boys weren't there emotionally like they probably could have been. But that is what it is, and looking forward to this year. Hopefully we're going to learn a lot, like I say, and go forward in the next couple of seasons and take a lot from this season and from that finals loss last season.
Yep. No, agreed. And yeah, maybe we did the Hawthorn, but we just didn't have the run that they got and won the flag early. Maybe that was what happened. It's hard to say. But one thing, as we know, and we haven't had a recording of our show since it happened, is Darcy Wilson's going to be a pretty good chance of winning the Rising Star now.
He's got to be a good chance.
I think he was already a chance anyway, to be brutally honest.
I think he's there. If he keeps being as consistent as what he was, he probably had a quieter night the other night, but still played well.
Well, while we're talking about Darcy, let's have a look.
Sammy's been a huge fan of him from the first time he's seen him play. Sammy's been
the boy can play.
First time seeing him play. So
you are right. He did have a quieter night. He only had 10 disposals. But yet again, he's only a kid. You can't expect an 18.
Boy,
You can't expect an 18-year-old to be able to do it week in, week out just yet.
That's it.
But looking at that, there were some good signs. Sinker was back into things. He 31 disposals, 25 kicks, and you want him having 25 kicks with the way he kicks the ball anyway.
Yeah.
Same with Nasiah. He had 28 disposals and he had 20 kicks. You want him kicking the ball.
There was a lot of talk about him with Jack Rewalt and that crew. Was that Fox Footy or whatever it was? That's what I watched the after the game thing with that. They were on Jack Rewalt and those boys, and they were talking about giving him a real good hot crack in the middle. Why not give him a crack in the middle? And I think that it's a lot of merit what they were talking about. He's a very good user of the ball and he's got a great football brain. So yeah, why not let him have a crack? One fella who was probably the unsung hero of the night. Well, he's not. Everyone's noticed it. Was Windhager again with the tagging on Miller. He was huge. Yeah, he kicked that goal. He kicked that goal that put them in front, but that was just an opportunist thing. You know what I mean? That he just played so well on him. Apart from that goal he kicked, Windhager had made him his bitch. Really, to be fair.
I think at the end of the game, I called it a draw because I believe Windhager had 15 disposals and I believe Miller had about 16. So I called it a break even. And if we had started the game thinking that we could break even with Miller, I think that's fair. I think he did his job.
I think what we've got to take into consideration there too, mate, though, is that we've got a second-year player playing on him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which I believe is he second-year player Windhager or third.
So
what is he? Second or third season?
Third. Or he was in the same bunch as Owens, so it's probably his third, maybe fourth season.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have played a lot. Like last season was his real one where he started to get some game time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let's have a look.
So I might have buggered that up, but
no.
He's new to it anyway.
Yeah. Look, he's played all 12 games this year, but he's relatively new. Like he's from that next generation academy, same as Owens and guys like that. So I think Paris was as well, but we let him go through lack of opportunity. But saying that, look, I've seen Wilson grab the ball a couple of times, run with it, which is great. He's a tank, don't get me wrong. but he was one of the ones that tended to bomb it inside 50 a few times. But I can live with that because he's only a kid. He'll get better.
That's it, eh? And as we said, if your forwards aren't working as well together as they should be, it's sometimes hard. It might be hard to figure out where you're going if they're not sure where they're going themselves.
Yep. No,
They
100%.
need to be communicating with each other so everyone knows where they're at.
I tell you one thing that's certain is St Kilda need to throw the kitchen sink at trying to keep battle because there's interest elsewhere. And
yeah, a lot of it too
night,
from a few other clubs by the sound of it. I think Hawthorn,
right.
Collingwood.
Yep. And I think I heard Geelong even. But say that, we would have been
lost. Too young for them.
Yeah, true. But we'd be lost without battle, especially once Dougal went down in particular.
Yeah. Well, I think he said after the game in his after match, I think he got a 2-minute break for the whole game.
Yeah. And thank Christ he's got a tank.
He was starting to cramp up in the last quarter, and he hasn't done that for a long, long time. So,
yeah, and look, it was great to see Butler back to his brilliant best, snagging 3 goals.
Yeah, it was good. I still hate seeing him kicking those ones from directly in front around the corner. I don't. It takes a bit to get your head around that.
I tell you what, though,
whatever works for them.
Tell you what, though, he might be the new tip rat because he milked a free kick out of a bit of a push and a shove.
He let him know about that too, didn't he?
He certainly did.
That was good. I did enjoy that.
He certainly did. But look, I'm sorry, Sam. We haven't had much conversation with you because you haven't seen the game. It makes it a bit difficult, mate. But
Friday night, make sure you stay at home Friday night, and we'll watch the game and we'll be ready for next week. So
yeah, we certainly will be. And look, hopefully, if we're ever going to beat Brisbane up there, this year's the year. Because they haven't been the Brisbane we've seen the last few years.
Yeah, definitely not what was expected. But when they get up there in front of their home crowd, they're going to be wanting to deliver. So it's not going to be an easy game.
No, it's certainly not. So, look, what we might do to wind up, so we can also get a contribution from Sammy, is all right, Sammy. Just a premature one because I know your dad and yourself will do something on Friday, but give us the old 3 things: the first goal kicker, your predicted bog, and a margin winner.
Yeah, Higgins first goal kicker.
Right, yep. Higgins, I'll write it down for you.
Yeah.
Best on ground. Best on ground.
Sinclair.
Yeah, that's a decent.
Yeah, and then Saints by 2 goals.
Saints by 2 goals. What about yourself, Danny?
I'm going to yes. I'll chuck in first goal scorer. Who am I going to go for? I'm going to have to stick with King.
Yep.
I went for him last week. Saints by 17 points. And my best, I just think 17 points is a real good sign of a good close game, but it's still a decent win. For some reason, 17 points is my ultimate thing for a good win in a close sort of a game.
I don't know anything else than 17 points.
I do pick different points sometimes, but anyway, and best on ground, I'm going to go for Paddy Dow again. I picked him the other day, and he didn't play as well, I think, but he's ready for a St Kilda breakout game, I reckon.
He's not far off it, and you've done your margin. All right. For myself, I'm going to really look into the crystal ball, and I'm going to do a bit of a Nostradamus here. Best on ground, Nasiah.
Yep.
And I'm seeing him in the second half go into the middle of the ground and ripping Brisbane a new one a few times out of the centre from a Marshall
tap. Love to see that. I'd love to see that.
Also, that was the best on ground. The first goal, go a little bit left field. I reckon Battle's going to drift down, chasing his opponent, mark it on 50 and kick a set shot from 55 out. And my margin will be this, all right? Mason Wood is going to do what he does on the wing. He's going to intercept Mark late in the game when we're down by about 3 points. They'll be kicking in. He'll intercept Mark, have a set shot after the siren, and we will win by 3 points.
Well, I want to get hold of the bookmakers and see what odds you can get, because that'd be some great odds for that, mate.
I reckon.
And it'd
I
come
reckon.
off, you'd be a bloody legend.
Yeah, I reckon. But I'm going to, from now on with that sort of stuff, I'm going to be creative and just sort of.
I like it. You got to think outside the box a bit, eh?
That's it, mate. That's it. But as we always do, and that we'll be thanking Josh Watson for his editing very soon. And I'll get on to Josh.
Josh, you're the man. Love your work every week.
Great fella.
Well, not every week, because we've been a bit slack on it.
But
we've been in a bit of hibernation, but we're back into it now, 100%. So
that's it. So we'll put a bit of pressure on Josh weekly now, hopefully, or worst case scenario, at least fortnightly, but we'll be aiming for weekly. Also, too, don't forget our Facebook page and comment, ask us questions, inboxes. Don't forget Sammy's special delivery. We want questions.
Yeah.
Also,
love some questions for that, eh, Sammy?
Yep.
That's it.
And thank you to Greg for that suggestion and topic today. That was good.
Yep, 100%. And get on to our YouTube channel, subscribe and like. That would be great. And also, too, as always, lads, to the lady that keeps you two in line, Libby, thank you for her artwork that you can see behind my skull, which is brilliant.
Good job, Liv.
Absolutely. And look, thanks to you guys for putting in the time. It's great, and I've really enjoyed it so far. No worries.
And as we apologise again because we have been a little bit slack on it, but we got everything under control now. We're sorted. Well, as sorted as you can be in the situations, and we're keen to watch a lot more footy and get more involved in talking about the footy again. So
100%, and that's what it's all about. And look, in life, we get thrown curveballs, and poor bastards have been thrown a few recently. So let's just hopefully they'll be just straight now.
Yeah, we're back on track, mate. It's all good.
Absolutely. So from me, as far as I'm concerned with the Over the Ditch Saints, it's hooroo from me.
Cheers, mate. And wherever you're watching the game on Friday night, make sure you sink a few beers. The one.
And where's...
Saints!